Hello everyone, today we are continuing the story of Yang Kai, a trial disciple at the High Heaven Pavilion. Unfortunately, Yang Kai finds himself stuck at the third stage of cultivation, unable to break through any further. This stagnation leaves him with the lowly status of a mere sweeper within the sect. His future seems bleak, with no hope of advancing in the world of martial arts, until fate throws him a lifeline. During one of his hunting trips, he stumbles upon a mysterious black stone that changes everything. This unexpected encounter becomes the turning point in his life, propelling him towards a path he once thought unreachable. The peak of martial arts, which once seemed an eternal distance away for someone like him, suddenly feels a lot closer. His destiny has been altered and a new chapter begins. Please leave a like, as today's like goal is 1,500 likes to hit the subscribe button for more videos. So let's start the story without any delay. The story kicks off the crack of dawn. Yang Kai wakes up groggy but determined. After splashing some water on his face and rinsing his mouth like he's preparing for a big day, or maybe just to look awake, he grabs the trusty old broom from the corner of his room. Stepping outside, he stretches at the doorway, his joints popping like firecrackers in the quiet morning air. The wet horizon of dawn greets him, and for a moment, he closes his eyes, pretending he's got all the time in the world to enjoy the peace, before reality reminds him that sweeping isn't going to do itself. Then, he opens his eyes and starts sweeping the dust and fallen leaves from the ground. He's wearing simple, clean green clothes, making his plain white robe look older than the young man himself. Even while sweeping, Yang Kai's back is as straight as his spear. Although he's doing the lowest level job, his expression remains calm and his movements are steady. He's not exerting much strength, but with just a flick of his wrist, the broom moves as if it's an extension of his arm. Magically, the dust and debris on the ground move as if they've grown legs. Yang Kai serves as a trial disciple of the High Heaven Pavilion. 3 years ago, full of hope and ambition, he joined this sect and embarked on his journey of cultivation. But despite all the effort he's poured into it, he's only managed to reach the third stage of the tempered body realm. Meanwhile, his peers who joined alongside him have long surpassed this humble stage, leaving him in their dust. While his peers enjoyed glowing success and climbed the ranks under the watchful guidance of their mentors, Yang Kai remained stuck in the third stage for 3 long, frustrating years. To say he's average would be an understatement. Some might even label him plain, though not in a charming way. With no mentor or breakthrough in sight, he's resigned himself to the role of floor sweeper, doing whatever it takes to stay afloat while continuing his bitter, lonely cultivation. High Heaven Pavilion is no ordinary sect. Here, competition is brutal and unforgiving. The strong rise to prominence while the weak are either left in the dirt or booted out entirely. It's survival of the fittest here, and the law of the jungle is on full display. In other sects, you might find some camaraderie between disciples, but not here. Want to climb up the ranks? You need to step on your so-called brother's shoulders, sometimes quite literally. Only by standing on their blood can you qualify. The strict rules of High Heaven Pavilion are well known, and the intensity of competition between disciples is second to none. There's a rule at High Heaven Pavilion. Disciples under 14, regardless of their background, must undergo a 3-year trial period. During this time, the sect provides food, shelter, and transportation. The disciples need only focus on cultivation. If a disciple reaches the tempered body stage within 3 years, they can become a formal disciple and be taken under the wing of one of the sect's experts. Of course, one can choose to walk their own path without a mentor, but the difference between receiving guidance from a great teacher and blindly exploring on your own is like night and day. The rules of the High Heaven Pavilion are pretty generous in this sense. However, if a disciple fails to reach the tempered body stage in 3 years, they are either kicked out or demoted to a trial disciple. That's Yang Kai's current status, a trial disciple. Trial disciples face even harsher living conditions. They're on their own for everything. Food, clothes, shelter. You name it, the sect won't lift a finger to help. The idea of wasting valuable cultivation resources on them is laughable. Trial disciples are essentially left to rot in the shadows with only the slimmest hope of clawing their way back into the sect's good graces by somehow achieving a miraculous improvement in a very short time. If they can convince the sect they're worth the investment, they might get a second chance. But that's a big if. Out of the 3,000 disciples in High Heaven Pavilion, fewer than 10 are stuck in the trial disciple limbo. Yang Kai happens to be one of them, though calling him lucky feels like a stretch. Living as a trial disciple is basically like trying to ascend to the heavens with a lead weight tied to your ankle. A few months ago, after being demoted to a trial disciple, Yang Kai took a job as a floor sweeper to survive. So now Yang Kai is both a trial disciple and the janitor of High Heaven Pavilion. As glamorous as that sounds, still, sweeping floors isn't the most reliable job either. Sometimes Yang Kai goes hungry, other times he has a full belly. Whether he's starving or catching a cold, he just gets on with life. His days are miserable, but Yang Kai refuses to give up. He chose this path, and he's determined to walk it to the end. Giving up halfway isn't an option. Yang Kai has perseverance, the kind that won't let him rest until he reaches the southern wall, or, in this case, the peak of cultivation. Yang Kai finishes sweeping the floor, his usual routine complete for now. Just then, disciples of the High Heaven Pavilion begin to gather around him. These early risers don't jump into their cultivation right away. Instead, they stand around Yang Kai like vultures circling a fresh meal. Some of them even look at him with an unnerving hunger, as if he's the last slice of cake at a party. One disciple points out that it's Yang Kai, the trial disciple who even to this day is still stuck at the tempered body third stage. He mentions that it's been 5 days since Yang Kai was last challenged, and today presents another opportunity to go at him again. Circling the group, a brown-haired boy speaks up, noting how unfair it is, one against so many. But someone quickly shuts him down, telling him if he doesn't like it, he's free to leave. No one's forcing him to stay. Unfazed by the chatter, Yang Kai calmly sets his broom aside and sits down right in the middle of the road, assuming a yoga-like position. He takes a deep breath, focusing on regaining some of his energy. This unusual move doesn't go unnoticed. The boys around him begin muttering among themselves. One wonders aloud if Yang Kai is actually meditating, while another questions the point of it all, suggesting he should stop pushing himself and just give up already. But Yang Kai, as always, remains indifferent to their words, focused on his own recovery. A boy with a blue band on his forehead steps forward, casually advising Yang Kai to stop wasting his effort. He suggests Yang Kai just let himself get beaten up a little so they can both save time and move on with their day. After all, Yang Kai is just at the tempered body third stage and doesn't stand a chance of winning. Another boy joins in, chuckling, and urges Yang Kai to consider their feelings. They are trading to resume after this fight, unlike him, and they'd prefer not to waste too much energy. Yang Kai, however, remains unbothered by the banter. He continues focusing on cultivating his mana, entirely tuning out the jeers and unsolicited advice from the crowd. Just as the onlookers grow more impatient, the sound of the morning bell suddenly echoes through the air. It rings 9 times, signaling the start of a new day, with the sun rising from the west in a rare and majestic sight. Yang Kai calmly opens his eyes, ready for whatever comes next. Everyone calms down, their focus returning to Yang Kai, who remains seated in the center. Slowly, Yang Kai rises, lifts the broom in his hand, and scans the crowd around him. Without further delay, Yang Kai casually tosses the broom into the air. As it spins, dozens of eyes follow its every movement, silently hoping for it to land in their favor. Time seems to slow down as the broom spins, and when it finally hits the ground, its handle points directly at a tall and muscular disciple, Zhu Dingjun. Zhu Dingjun laughs and steps forward, clearly satisfied with being chosen. The other disciples sigh in disappointment, realizing their chance to be picked has passed. Some grumble quietly, expressing frustration that they haven't been chosen after attending multiple times. The crowd disperses and only Yang Kai and Zhu Dingjun remain standing face to face. Yang Kai, still a trial disciple in the third stage of the tempered body realm, now faces Zhu Dingjun, who is an ordinary disciple in the 5th stage. The ranking system within the High Heaven Pavilion is strict, with disciples divided into levels: trial disciples, ordinary disciples, head disciples, elite disciples, and core disciples. Zhu Dingjun, as an ordinary disciple, has yet to be accepted as a formal apprentice by a sect expert, but his strength is evident. His goal is to advance and be acknowledged as a head disciple, eventually making his way up the ranks. The competitive spirit that fuels High Heaven Pavilion is well known. It's a system designed to push young cultivators to constantly surpass themselves. This intense atmosphere is what brings so many disciples to challenge Yang Kai, eager to earn contribution points. For disciples like Zhu Dingjun, these challenges offer not only a chance to practice, but also valuable rewards that can help them progress in their cultivation. In the middle of the field, Yang Kai and Zhu Dingjun prepare to face off. The crowd knows what to expect. Yang Kai is the underdog, but he always puts up a good fight. Without hesitation, Yang Kai charges forward, his thin frame suddenly bursting with energy. He launches a direct punch aimed at Zhu Dingjun's chest. The attack is simple and straightforward, using the long fist technique, a basic martial art taught to all disciples in the pavilion. It's not a profound technique, but it's effective in building strength. Zhu Dingjun, however, remains unfazed. With his cultivation 2 levels higher than Yang Kai's, he confidently evades the punch. His movements are effortless, almost as if he's strolling through a park. Yang Kai's fist misses its target, and Zhu Dingjun seizes the opportunity to counter. Zhu Dingjun's elbow strikes Yang Kai's arm, and with a swift knee to the stomach, he forces Yang Kai to retreat. Though hurt, Yang Kai manages to avoid a third blow by quickly backing away. Zhu Dingjun is slightly surprised that Yang Kai anticipated his next move. Though this mistake won't affect the overall outcome, Zhu Dingjun realizes he must remain focused. Zhu Dingjun follows Yang Kai, intending to finish the fight swiftly. However, just as he moves, Yang Kai charges forward again, showing no signs of giving up. Zhu Dingjun notices the unyielding determination in Yang Kai's eyes. Despite the clear difference in their strength, Yang Kai continues to fight with everything he has. He throws another punch, and this time, Zhu Dingjun senses that he's been lured into a trap. Realizing his mistake too late, Zhu Dingjun understands that Yang Kai, though weaker, has superior battle instincts. However, Zhu Dingjun doesn't back down. With a deep breath, he meets Yang Kai's attack head-on, exchanging blows. Yang Kai is sent flying back from the impact while Zhu Dingjun remains steady, though slightly swaying from the force. The difference in their physical strength is obvious, and it becomes clear that Yang Kai's body can't withstand Zhu Dingjun's power. Despite winning the exchange, Zhu Dingjun feels uneasy. The fight, though going in his favor, lacks the satisfaction he expected. He had thought Yang Kai would be an easy opponent, but Yang Kai's resilience proves otherwise. Zhu Dingjun doesn't feel good about being struck by an opponent who is 2 levels below him. Even though it seems he's won the fight, it doesn't feel like a clean victory. There are murmurs from the crowd, some wondering if Zhu Dingjun truly thinks he's won. They find it amusing, as if Zhu Dingjun may not have fully grasped who Yang Kai is. Zhu Dingjun had heard about Yang Kai from others, but seeing a crowd gather earlier, he had joined in, unaware of what he was getting into. He hadn't expected his luck to be so good or bad when Yang Kai picked him as his opponent. Despite his confidence, he can't shake the feeling that something is off. After all, he had sent Yang Kai flying with a single punch, which by the sex rules should have been enough to conclude the fight. His opponent should have admitted defeat, as there was no need to continue any further. While Zhu Dingjun is deep in thought, to his surprise, Yang Kai stands up again. His eyes show no sign of defeat. In fact, his fighting spirit only seems to have grown stronger. His thin, pale face appears even more determined than before. Without waiting for Zhu Dingjun to react, Yang Kai charges forward again, covering a short distance between them in a matter of seconds. He quickly lifts his legs and delivers a whip kick aimed at Zhu Dingjun's lower body. This is a fundamental technique that all disciples of the High Heaven Pavilion learn, but the way Yang Kai uses it impresses some of the more experienced onlookers. Many of them now realize that even such a basic technique can be this powerful when executed well. Despite Yang Kai's skill, the gap between their cultivation levels and physical strength is too vast. Zhu Dingjun easily blocks the attack and counters with a strike to Yang Kai's leg, sending him flying once more. Yang Kai struggles back to his feet. He's clearly injured and his stance is unsteady. His bones seem to have taken considerable damage. Yet despite the pain, Yang Kai clenches his teeth, and the fire in his eyes burns even brighter. Zhu Dingjun sends Yang Kai flying again and again. Some in the crowd can no longer bear to watch and leave, while others sigh in amazement at Yang Kai's sheer persistence. Every time he is knocked down, he gets back up, never once surrendering. It's a testament to Yang Kai's unbreakable will. No matter how badly he is beaten, he refuses to give in until he is knocked out cold. These words eventually reach Zhu Dingjun, and he can't help but feel a growing sense of frustration. He hadn't expected to face such a stubborn opponent, someone who continues to get back up after being sent flying 7 or 8 times. By now, Yang Kai's face is swollen, his eyes blackened, and his steps wobbly, but his determination remains unshaken. Every time he falls, he picks himself back up and charges forward, as if the weight of his injuries means nothing. As Yang Kai repeats this again and again, Zhu Dingjun's expression shifts. He realizes that his opponent's unyielding resolve might be bordering on madness. If Yang Kai doesn't admit defeat soon, he might actually die from the relentless beating. Yang Kai has racked up an impressive, if not questionable, record of 147 consecutive losses, yet somehow still have the audacity to remain in the High Heaven Pavilion. This is a place where disciples fight relentlessly, and every year, more than a few end up dead. Watching him charge fearlessly, Zhu Dingjun can't help but feel uneasy. If he were in Yang Kai's shoes, there's no way he'd manage to pull this off. He'd have probably already thrown in the towel because, let's be honest, staying alive seems like a pretty solid plan. Live to fight another day and all that. Yang Kai, however, is a different breed. Despite the exhaustion visible on his face, his fighting spirit only grows stronger. Zhao realizes that if he doesn't end this now, the fight is just going to drag on forever. With a swift motion, Zhou strikes at Yang Kai's neck, and just like that, Yang's fierce resolve vanishes. His eyes lose focus and crumples to the ground like a marionette whose strings have been cut. Up in the trees, a shadowy figure observes the scene. It's a woman, her face veiled, holds a small scroll and begins to jot down notes. The woman's form is graceful and elegant, but her face remains hidden. The leaf-pattern armband on her arm reveals her identity. She is a disciple of the Dark Hall, a secretive organization within High Heaven Pavilion that reports to the sect's third elder. Members of the Dark Hall have one main job: to record everything that happens in the sect, including the results of duels between disciples. So when someone decides to stir up some chaos in High Heaven Pavilion, they don't need to worry about missing out on their contribution points. The Dark Hall members are always lurking around somewhere, taking note of all the juicy details and adding them to the monthly report. After recording the result of this latest fight, the woman pulls out an even smaller booklet from her waist. She flips it open and scans the names. Joding Jun wins, Yang Kai loses. This marks Yang Kai's 147th consecutive defeat. She reads over the long list of losses, and it's hard not to feel a little sorry for the guy. It's not like he's the worst, but 147 defeats in a row, that's got to sting. Watching him take hit after hit, she starts to wonder what's up with this guy. She doesn't get it. Yang Kai has been demoted to a trial disciple, and his chances of survival in this sect are slim. She wonders why he doesn't just leave as if he walked away. His life would definitely be better. What kind of person sticks around for this kind of punishment? He seems stubborn beyond reason. She thinks maybe it's some weird guy thing. In her mind, it's sheer foolishness. Later, when Yang Kai finally wakes up, it's late at night. His whole body aches like he's been hit by a wagon, and as he struggles to his feet, he realizes something weird. He's not where he fainted. Instead, he's under the shade of a nearby tree. He wonders if someone actually dragged him here. That's got to be a joke. After all the beatings he's endured, no one has ever lifted a finger to help him before. Scratching his head, he tries to piece together what happened, but all he can recall is a vague image of a figure moving in front of him. It's too blurry to make any sense of, so he quickly gives up trying to figure it out. He glances around more closely and something catches his eye. Drag marks in the dirt between where he fainted and his current spot. There's no doubt about it, someone definitely pulled him across the ground. This explains why his back feels like it's been set on fire. Even in defeat, life finds a new way to remind Yang Kai just how spectacularly unlucky he is. His initial gratitude toward whoever dragged him to safety vanishes in an instant. The thought that someone could be so generous yet still rough enough to scrape the skin off his back fills him with frustration. If they were going to help him, they could have at least been gentle. He figures it would have been better if they just left him there rather than leaving him with a raw back. Feeling dejected, he notices something odd in his right hand. Confused, he looks down and sees a small porcelain bottle. Now, this definitely isn't his. Yang Kai has never owned anything fancy like this. All he has is the clothes on his back and his trusty broom. The bottle has a label, and when he reads it, his eyes widen. It's anticoagulant cream, a treatment used in the High Heaven Pavilion for external injuries. While it's not exactly a miracle cure, it works wonders on wounds, and most disciples carry a bottle with them just in case. But here's the kicker. This stuff isn't cheap. To get a bottle like this from the pavilion's logistics department costs 10 contribution points, which is about the same as what Yang Kai earns from sweeping for an entire month. The thought of someone leaving him such a valuable item makes Yang Kai's emotions swirl. Who could have been kind enough to leave this for him? After 3 years at the pavilion, where most disciples only cared about themselves, someone actually helped him for once. This simple act touches Yang Kai deeply. Maybe not all the disciples of the sect are heartless after all. For Yang Kai, this bottle of cream is a lifeline. To others, it might just be some common ointment, but to him it's exactly what he needs right now. There's a saying, a drop of kindness should be repaid with a gushing spring. Yang Kai vows to repay this act of goodwill in the future. He tries to recall the figure that helped him. The memory remains frustratingly blurry. All he remembers is a faint fragrance lingering in the air. He wonders if the medicine is really that fragrant. Shaking off his thoughts, Yang Kai calms himself down, adjusts his clothes, and carefully stows away the anticoagulant cream. He grabs his broom and gets back to sweeping, cleaning inside and outside the area until noon. By the time he finishes his work, his body is exhausted and his stomach growls with hunger. But the wounds from the morning's fight still need attention, so even though he's starving, Yang Kai knows he has to tend to his injuries first. Back in his room, he strips off his worn-out clothes and fills a basin with water to wash his body. If anyone saw Yang Kai right now, they'd probably be shocked. His body is thin and frail, with his ribs clearly visible, as if he's been starved for years. On top of that, his entire body is covered in bruises and cuts. There's hardly an unscathed inch of skin left. Every 5 days, someone challenges him, and every time he loses consciousness. His old wounds haven't even had time to heal before new ones appear. It's a wonder he's even alive. Most people wouldn't be able to endure this kind of pain, but Yang Kai isn't most people. Not only does he endure it, but he also trains daily and sweeps the floors without letting his injuries slow him down. After cleaning himself up, Yang Kai grabs the anticoagulant cream and scoops out some ointment to apply to his wounds, but then stops abruptly. An idea hits him, why waste it? Rushing to grab a bowl of water, Yang Kai dilutes the cream by mixing it with water. Sure, diluting it will weaken its effects, but he only has one bottle, and he's got to make it last. With great care, he applies the diluted mixture to his wounds. By the time the bowl is empty, he's finished treating his injuries. But to his surprise, the smell of the anticoagulant cream has changed a little. It's not just fragrant anymore, there's a faint hint to it. With his wounds now treated, Yang Kai puts his clothes back on, grabs a piece of black cloth, and prepares for whatever comes next, feeling a little better, though still puzzled by the lingering scent. Exhausted, he collapses onto his bed, which is little more than a deerskin blanket laid across a simple wooden frame. There's no table or chair in the room, just this makeshift bed. The roof has several holes, allowing beams of light to stream in, casting a warm glow in the furnished room. His pillow is a square black stone of the size of a book, which he had picked up during a hunting trip. Although it looks like an ordinary rock, it's lighter than it appears and has served as his pillow for over a year. Oddly enough, it's given him the best sleep of his life. As he sleeps, Yang Kai dreams of the morning's battle. Over and over, junior brother Zhu Jun knocks him down, but each time Yang Kai gets back up, his heart swelling with determination. The dream intensifies as his chest fills with burning resolve. Despite the pain etched across his sleeping face, his expression remains firm, his spirit unbroken. Even as he dreams of walking across a mountain of thorns or burning in a sea of fire, he faces it all with courage, refusing to back down. Unbeknownst to him, the black stone pillow beneath his head starts to glow. The light grows stronger, pulsating in time with Yang Kai's emotions, becoming brighter with each surge of his willpower. In the dream, Yang Kai finds himself thrown to the ground again and again by Zhu Jun, but on the 1000th time something shifts. That endless persistence within him finally blossoms, and with a burst of strength, he charges forward and defeats Zhu Jun, who, strangely, morphs into Yang Kai's own likeness. The moment of victory isn't about defeating Zhao, it's about defeating the fear and doubt within himself. A sense of calm washes over him, as if nothing in the world could ever scare him again. Meanwhile, the black stone pillow beneath Yang Kai's head shatters with a burst of black light. The light swirls in the air before sinking into Yang Kai's forehead, vanishing without a trace. At the same time, an ancient and primal aura fills the room, heavy and oppressive, like the force of a tsunami crashing down. Under this aura, even the mightiest of beings would feel insignificant. Suddenly, Yang Kai wakes up, drenched in sweat and filled with a sense of fear he hadn't felt before. After calming himself, he chuckles at the absurdity of being so frightened by a mere dream. As he touches his face and glances around the room, he realizes he's slept for 4 hours, and it's nearly evening. Annoyed at how much time he's lost, he quickly folds up his deerskin blanket and starts to rise from bed, but something about the black stone pillow catches his eye. Its texture feels different. Frowning, Yang Kai picks up the pillow, weighing it in his hands. It's lighter than before, which is strange for a stone. Casually tossing it into the air, he watches as the object suddenly unfolds like a thick book, pages flipping open as if a gust of wind blew through them. Stunned, Yang Kai forgets to catch it, and the stone, now clearly a book, falls to the ground with a loud thud. He can't believe his eyes. This thing has been his pillow for over a year, and he never realized it was a book. How could a stone suddenly turn into a book? Yang Kai bends down and picks it up, feeling a strange sense of harmony the moment his fingers touch it. Upon closer inspection, he realizes that the thick cover and pages feel real. However, there's something off. There aren't any words written on the pages. It's completely blank. Curious, Yang Kai tries to tear one of the pages, but despite its appearance, the page won't budge. Not a single rip. Intrigued, Yang Kai realizes he's been using this stone for over a year, and now it reveals its true nature is actually a book. But what use is a book with no words? Confused, Yang Kai flips through the pages, scanning each one, but they remain empty. Frustrated, he glares at the blank paper, wondering if he's missing something. Just as he focuses, the page in front of him starts to change. The wild, ancient aura from his dream returns, and slowly a line of large golden characters appears on the page. As he reads, the words take root in his mind. Using blood as a guide, the golden body descends. Divine power falters, yet the golden body remains unscathed. The aura is overwhelming, striking directly at his heart. Yang Kai slams the book shut, his hands and feet trembling uncontrollably. He takes a deep breath, trying to calm himself. What kind of mysterious secret is hidden in this black book? He has no idea, but one thing is certain. The stone he picked up from the Black Wind mountain range is far more extraordinary than he ever imagined. After a long silence, Yang Kai cautiously opens the black book again. This time, the same golden characters appear, confirming it wasn't just a dream. As he concentrates, more lines begin to emerge on the page, filling it with words, 8 lines, each radiating an overwhelming sense of supremacy, as if the words themselves are infused with a dominating power that could shake the heavens. Yang Kai realizes he's stumbled upon something far beyond his understanding. From the literal meaning of the last few lines, only that of a persevering soul can reap of what it holds. Yang Kai deduces that the transformation of the Blackstone pillow into a black book is likely tied to his dream. For over a year, he had slept on that stone without any change, but now it transformed into a mysterious book. He realizes the change came from within himself. His persevering mindset during the dream must have triggered this transformation. Since his own will facilitated the birth of the Black Book, it means the book was created for him, and he is its master. Thinking this, Yang Kai doesn't hesitate. The words in the Black Book clearly state that his blood is needed to activate it. With resolve, he bites into his finger, allowing blood to flow onto the first page of the book. At first, nothing happens, but slowly the book begins to glow with a faint black light. Yang Kai's body is already weakened from the battle, and now after losing more blood, he starts to feel dizzy. Still, he grits his teeth and endures. As the blood continues to drip, the light grows brighter, filling the room. After what feels like an eternity, though in reality only a cup of tea's worth of time, the page begins to change dramatically. A swirling black vortex appears in the center of the page, and soon after, a faint golden light emerges from the vortex. Forcing himself to stay conscious, Yang Kai stares at the transformation before him. From within the vortex, a small, round, golden object slowly rises. Yang Kai is stunned. There's actually something inside the page. Although he had hoped his blood would unlock the book's secrets, he hadn't fully believed it would work. But now, with the evidence right in front of him, he can't help but feel excited. The golden words from the book weren't just decoration. This was real. Blood is a guide, and the golden body descends. What kind of golden body was this? His pale face brightens with anticipation. After a moment, the small golden object fully emerges from the page, and Yang Kai's eyes widen in disbelief. What he sees is beyond anything he could have imagined. The so-called golden body is, in fact, a golden skeleton, about half a foot tall. The first thing that catches his attention is the shining skull. The skeleton floats above the page of the Black Book, sitting cross-legged as if in deep meditation. Every bone emits a radiant golden light, illuminating the entire room with a dazzling glow. The black vortex in the book gradually fades, and soon everything returns to normal. Yang Kai stares at the skeleton, unsure of what to do next. The book only mentions summoning the golden body but gave no instructions on what to do once it appeared. As he examines it, Yang Kai feels something unsettling. Despite the skeleton having no eyes, he can sense it scrutinizing him. Though it lacks a mouth, it somehow gives off the vibe of mocking his weakness. Realizing this, Yang Kai becomes furious. How dare this tiny skeleton act so arrogant? Without thinking, Yang Kai reaches out to grab the golden skeleton. But before his hand can touch it, the skeleton flies forward, phasing right through his hand and striking him directly in the chest. In a flash, the golden light intensifies as the skeleton disintegrates into countless tiny glowing particles that begin to seep into Yang Kai's body through his pores. Suddenly, pain surges through Yang Kai's entire being. This isn't ordinary pain. It's a deep, bone-shattering agony. Yang Kai screams and collapses to the ground, his body curling up like a shrimp as his mind reels from the intensity. It feels as though every single bone in his body is being broken at once, leaving him completely powerless, unable to move even a finger. This is no illusion. If Yang Kai could somehow look inside his body, he'd see that his bones are indeed shattering. But alongside the destruction, a layer of golden light wraps around each bone, working to repair them. Yet the speed of repair is slower than the destruction. Every time a bone is mended, it breaks again, creating an endless cycle of agony. The human body's bone marrow and mirrors are extremely sensitive, so even a slight disturbance can cause immense pain. The fact that Yang Kai's bones are breaking and healing repeatedly is a torture beyond comprehension. Any ordinary person, even someone 1,000 times stronger than Yang Kai, would have passed out long ago. But Yang Kai endures even as the intense pain floods his mind and body. The price for his persistence, however, is that the pain is magnified 1,000-fold. The air in the cabin is filled with Yang Kai's heart-wrenching screams, terrifying any nearby disciples of the High Heaven Pavilion who happen to pass by. They quickly flee, not wanting to get involved in whatever strange event is happening inside. Amidst the searing agony, Yang Kai realizes with horror that the golden body isn't just some powerful gift, it's a destructive force intent on consuming him from the inside out. This golden skeleton is trying to overwhelm him, erasing his consciousness and seizing control of his body. But Yang Kai refuses to surrender. Even though he can't move, he clings to his mind, fighting desperately to keep the golden body from taking over. The golden body, relentless and unforgiving, crushes his bones again and again, sending waves of torment through his nerves, even forcing him into unconsciousness at times. Over time, the excruciating pain, which he thought might be his new permanent roommate, finally starts to ease up. A wave of relief hits him. After all, the golden body has been treating his bones like chew toys, crushing and repairing them on repeat. But as it turns out, this whole destruction-reconstruction routine has a silver lining. His body is transforming, his bones toughening up like they've been on some insane workout plan, while the golden body's energy seems to be running low on gas. With his bones strengthening, the pain finally starts packing its bags. When the golden body fully merges with him, the battle is officially over. Yang Kai, still alive and kicking, suddenly remembers that black book he used as a pillow for over a year. Funny how a life-or-death situation brings up the strangest thoughts. He feels a rush of excitement. Where's the book now? He tries to move and is pleasantly surprised when his body actually listens to him, even if just a bit. Then, out of nowhere, the black book drops in front of him with a loud thud, almost as if it's making a dramatic entrance. Startled, Yang Kai reaches for it, frowning in concentration. To his shock, the book vanishes from his hand like it's playing hide and seek, only to pop back into existence with another thought. It's like the book has decided to be his new magical sidekick. His serious expression returns as he realizes this thing is now connected to him almost like a pet, but way less cuddly. Yang Kai starts to wonder if this mysterious black book in his hands might actually be a soul-suppressing stone. The thought sends a chill down his spine so fast he almost drops the thing. A soul-suppressing stone is no ordinary treasure. It's the kind of artifact that makes legendary relics look like cheap trinkets. According to ancient lore, these stones form in places where millions of souls have gathered and merged over countless years, which already sounds like a place no one would want to vacation. The legends say these stones absorb the life force of endless beings, creating something so powerful it could bring even the bravest cultivators to their knees, sobbing like they just lost a game of dice. Some stories even claim that a tiny fragment of one could turn an entire region into a barren wasteland, where not even the most stubborn weed would dare sprout. Sure, maybe those stories are exaggerated, probably something you tell around a campfire to scare junior disciples. But still, there's no denying that the creation of these stones is brutal, soaked in enough blood to make a warlord wince. The realization that this black book might be such a priceless treasure overwhelms Yang Kai. His current strength is a far cry from what's needed to manage, let alone protect, something this valuable. Sure, the book can be absorbed into his body, hidden from prying eyes, but that's only half the battle. The cold truth hits him. He'll need to cultivate like his life depends on it, because, well, it probably does, if he ever hopes to safeguard this artifact. At this moment, Yang Kai is essentially a guy walking around with a legendary artifact, while his fighting skills are barely at defend my lunch from bullies level. Not exactly a winning combination. So yeah, no pressure. All he needs to do now is figure out how to survive long enough to become strong enough. Thinking back to his journey 3 years ago, the fear in Yang Kai's heart slowly starts to fade. He remembers how he had traveled thousands of miles, leaving everything behind to join the High Heaven Pavilion, all for the sake of cultivation. It wasn't exactly a vacation, but it caught him here. And now, with this mysterious wordless black book in his possession, he feels like he's finally stumbled upon a real path forward. The first page of the book had already given him the powerful golden skeleton. Sure, he's still not entirely sure what it does, but at least it hasn't tried to eat him or explode, so that's a win in his book. He's confident it's not something harmful. But then a new thought hits him. If the black book has so many pages, could there be more than just the golden skeleton hidden within? Though only 15, Yang Kai's maturity far surpasses that of his peers, a result of the harsh trials he endured during the disaster 3 years ago. Those challenges have only strengthened his determination and resilience, making him more focused than ever. Now, as he sits calmly on the edge of his bed, he carefully examines the first page of the mysterious black book. After confirming that the initial page no longer holds any immediate secrets, he takes a deep breath and slowly flips to the second page. His past experiences have taught him caution, especially when dealing with unknown forces, but this time a flicker of excitement dances in his chest. Yang Kai stares intently at the second page of the black book as anticipation builds. His eyes widen as the long pause finally breaks and golden characters begin to emerge just like on the first page. The text reveals itself. Tempered body technique of the unyielding golden skeleton. Yang Kai's heart skips a beat. His instincts were spot on. Each page of this mysterious black book seems to hold secrets, techniques, and possibly treasures beyond imagination. As he continues to study the book, something extraordinary happens. The golden characters seem to come to life, transforming into fish-like creatures that leap right out of the pages, filling the air with a swarm of golden shadows. Before Yang Kai can even react, these shadows dart toward his head, disappearing into him like they got an appointment with his brain. In that instant, a surge of new knowledge floods his mind. It's as if the golden shadows have uploaded a new set of skills directly into his consciousness, instantly soothing his once overly excited spirit. Yang Kai closes his eyes, ready to process this overwhelming flood of information, but to his surprise, there's no need to process anything. The knowledge from the golden shadows is already crystal clear, almost like he's known it his entire life. It's the tempered body technique, a collection of profound techniques involving both fists and footwork. While they appear simple at first glance, there's a depth to them that leaves Yang Kai in awe. And there's a catch. These techniques must be practiced at a very specific time, sunrise, meaning he's only got about an hour each day to train. Great. Now he's not only got mystical techniques, but also a strict schedule to keep. Yes, the universe really likes keeping him on his toes. Right now, it's still the middle of the night, meaning he'd have to wait around 10 hours for sunrise. Yang Kai is hungry and tired, having only eaten a roasted sweet potato all day, but despite his physical exhaustion, the excitement of discovering such a treasure keeps him wide awake. Unable to sleep, he tries to focus on the third page of the black book, but to his disappointment, nothing changes no matter how hard he tries. Eventually, he falls asleep while reading. When Yang Kai wakes up, it's just before dawn, prime time for mystical training and questionable life choices. He leaps out of bed, eager to start practicing his new tempered body technique, because nothing says good morning like potentially breaking a few bones. Stepping outside his tiny cabin, he takes a deep breath, filling his lungs with the cool morning air that smells like both potential and regret. As the sun starts creeping up in the east, he mentally runs through the technique he now knows like the back of his hand, or at least hopes he does. He positions himself in the familiar stance, his fists moving slowly, deliberately, one to the left, one to the right, like he's trying to gently pet an imaginary cat, but also doesn't want to get scratched. His movements are calm and precise, as if he's cradling the fate of the world in his hands, or maybe just trying not to trip. His steps are light, feeling the earth beneath his feet, as though he's some sort of graceful warrior, if only his back agreed with that sentiment. Then Yang Kai's expression turns serious. His fists and feet move as if they each weigh 10,000 pounds, which is exactly how it feels, like he's fighting gravity on expert mode. The simplicity of the techniques is deceptive. Each movement feels like he's dragging a mountain behind him. And just when he's starting to wonder if training should come with a warning label, it happens. Suddenly, a sharp crack echoes through the air and Yang Kai's face pales. A jolt of pain shoots through his back and he freezes, wondering if he's just managed to snap his spine. Panicking, he does a quick check. No weird bends, no bones poking out, and realizes to his relief that his back is just complaining, not completely broken. Turns out the crack came from his spine, but thankfully, it's not a trip to the healer. Taking a deep breath and probably ignoring his body's cries for a coffee break, Yang Kai pulls himself back up. He's determined to continue practicing the tempered body technique. This time, he takes a deep breath, centers his thoughts, and begins again. He's more focused now and drawing on the lessons he just learned. His movements are slow and deliberate, but as he progresses, he starts to feel a flood of mixed emotions fill in his chest. It's a sensation he can't quite describe, an overwhelming feeling of connection to the world around him. Yang Kai continues to practice. His fists and feet grow heavier with each motion, as if he's moving underwater. His limbs feel sluggish, and every move becomes more difficult, like he's dragging a mountain behind him. His persistence is unwavering. Sweat pours down his face, his hands and feet tremble, and it feels as if the weight of the sky and earth is bearing down on him. The pressure is immense, but Yang Kai endures, refusing to give in. He's soaked in sweat, his body shaking from the strain, yet deep inside, he knows he's making progress, even if it's small. With each step, each punch, he is strengthening his body, preparing for something greater. He pushes through the pain, determined to master the technique, and in the process, he feels himself becoming stronger. The weight of the world is heavy, but Yang Kai is learning to carry it. Suddenly, a wave of warmth surges through Yang Kai's body, and just like that, the pain that had been his constant companion decides to take an early vacation. His spirit is instantly revitalized, and he dives even deeper into his practice. The warmth is clearly coming from the unyielding golden skeleton inside him. Seems like the skeleton and the tempered body technique are the perfect partners in crime. As the hour flies by faster than a kid in a candy store, Yang Kai feels the weight on his body lift. He knows it's time to wrap up, as the tempered body technique has this strict 1 hour before sunrise rule. Nothing like a bit of time management to keep things interesting. To his astonishment, Yankai quickly checks his progress and makes an incredible discovery. He can sense Chai. This means he's just broken through from the third stage of the tempered body realm into the fourth stage. It had taken him 3 years since joining the High Heaven Pavilion to reach the third stage, and now, after just an hour of practicing the tempered body technique, he had broken through to the fourth stage. The tempered body realm had a total of 9 stages, each training the body. The first 3 stages were simply about strengthening the body, but after the fourth stage, one could start to sense Chai. Only after sensing Chi could a cultivator begin advancing. Although one could sense Chai at this stage, there was still none in the body itself. It wasn't until reaching the 5th stage that a small amount of yuan Chi would be generated, and at the 9th stage, when the body's meridians fully opened, one could enter the initial element realm and truly possess their own yuan Chai. The initial element realm was the true beginning of a cultivator's path, while the tempered body realm laid the foundation for future growth. This foundation wasn't fixed. It continued to improve as one's strength grew, constantly refining muscles, bones, and skin until they reached perfection. For Yankai, having just entered the 4th stage and started sensing Chai was a monumental achievement. To outsiders, it might not seem like much, but for Yankai, it was the best news he had heard in a long time. An hour of practice had propelled him into the next stage, an effect clearly attributed to the power of the tempered body technique. While his perseverance contributed to this breakthrough, Yankai knew it would have taken him at least 3 to 4 months to achieve this without the technique. Yankai exhales deeply, and with that breath, black, smoky Chai spills out of his mouth, hitting the ground and stirring up a thin layer of dust. It's like his body's been holding onto the worst breath of his life. This dark, murky substance is clearly the result of his body's impurities being expelled. After letting it all out, Yankai feels his entire body become lighter, like he just ditched a heavy backpack of bad decisions, and his senses sharpen noticeably. He realizes that these are the impurities he's picked up along the way. It's pretty standard for cultivators in the tempered body realm to release these nasty bits whenever they break through to a new stage, and Yankai's done this before. But this is like cleaning out a closet you forgot you had. The impact is way more intense this time. His mind races with joy, thinking about how much progress he's made. He's reached the 4th stage now, but hasn't even tasted the full power of the tempered body technique. Heck, he's only done a small portion of the moves in his half-hour practice. Imagine if he'd gone full workout mode. Yankai wonders if just this little sample gives him such a boost, what kind of power would he have if he mastered the whole thing? Still, he knows better than to rush it. Like they say, you can't eat hot tofu in a hurry. Getting too eager might just lead to setbacks, and nobody wants to trip over their own success. Later, Yankai gets back to his usual routine and picks up his trusty broom to start sweeping the floor. Even though he's a floor sweeper, a mere servant at the High Heaven Pavilion, his job only covers about 1/10 of the entire pavilion, so it's not exactly back-breaking work. Normally, he can finish the whole area in about 2 hours, easy. Meanwhile, perched high up in a tree like some kind of stealthy bird, Xia Ning Chang quietly observes the daily activities of the disciples at the High Heaven Pavilion. Her gaze eventually lands on Yankai, sweeping away below. She tilts her head, finding something odd. Today, Yankai seems especially distracted. He's been sweeping the same tiny spot for half an hour without moving on. He's sweeping so intensely that the ground practically shines, clean enough that if a mosquito dared to land, it'd probably slip and slide right off. Xia Ning Chang doesn't know whether to laugh or cry at the sight, unsure if he's really focused or just zoned out with that broom in hand. Yankai, on the other hand, is deep in thought. After receiving such a fortunate opportunity the previous day, he naturally starts contemplating his future. But no matter how hard he thinks, no great ideas come to mind. He realizes he can only practice for about an hour before sunrise, so what's he supposed to do with the rest of his time? Maybe take up a hobby, become the pavilion's master sweeper? Just as he's mulling over his thoughts, he suddenly hears footsteps approaching from behind. Startled, Yankai quickly steps aside to avoid a collision, but as fate would have it, the other person also tries to dodge, and they end up bumping into each other anyway. Yankai is fine, he's sturdy enough, but the junior disciple who crashes into him feels like he's just run into a brick wall and stumbles back in pain. Yankai quickly recovers and apologizes, but the junior disciple looks a bit annoyed at first. Then he realizes who he's bumped into. Yankai, the guy who seems to get beaten up every 5 days like clockwork. The irritation fades instantly. He reflects what's the point of getting mad at this guy, and besides, the collision was partly his fault too. The junior disciple waves it off, saying it's all good, and quickly dashes away, probably hoping to avoid further awkwardness. Curious, Yankai asks where the junior brother is rushing off to. Without turning around, the disciple yells back, saying he's headed to the contribution hall. Hearing this, Yang Kai suddenly remembers today is the 8th day of the month, the day the sect distributes contribution points for the previous month. The contribution hall is bound to be buzzing with activity as disciples flock there to check how many points they've earned. On this day each month, the logistics department becomes the busiest place in the sect. Everyone rushes to see how many contribution points they've accumulated. For those who have earned a lot, they'll be eager to exchange their points for new weapons, armor, or martial arts manuals to strengthen themselves. As expected, the mood at the High Heaven Pavilion on this day is always filled with anticipation. Some people will be thrilled, while others will be disappointed. Unfortunately for Yang Kai, he tends to fall into the latter category. Yang Kai pauses for a moment, counting on his fingers, and can't help but frown. His contribution points for the previous month are pitifully low. Sweeping floors earned him 10 contribution points, but he was challenged and lost 6 times, and each defeat cost him a point. So after all this hard work, he's left with just 4 points. The realization makes him feel a bit embarrassed. Luckily, he's now just a trial disciple, and his status is at the bottom of the High Heaven Pavilion. Losing a fight only cost him 1 point. If he were a regular disciple, the penalty would have been much harsher. Whenever a regular disciple loses, they lose 2 contribution points. Thinking about this, Yang Kai feels a sense of relief. For now, he relies heavily on his meager contribution points to sustain his livelihood. Without hesitation, he quickly finishes sweeping the floor. By noon, Yang Kai finally completes his task and makes his way to the contribution hall with his broom in hand. After a morning of rushing about, the hall is now quiet and deserted, exactly why Yang Kai waited until midday to go. Had he come in the morning, he'd have had to deal with the chaotic lines of people. As he approaches the hall, the stillness inside is almost eerie. The only person present is the old man behind the counter, fast asleep. This elderly man is the manager of the contribution hall, somewhere between 50 and 60 years old. His thin, white hair and gentle face give him a harmless appearance, like someone who wouldn't hurt a fly. But Yang Kai knows better. This old man is no pushover. Once an elite disciple from the High Heaven Pavilion acted arrogantly in the hall and was nearly killed by a single flick of this old man's finger. Yang Kai witnessed it firsthand, and from that day on, he knew not to underestimate this elder's strength. Yang Kai steps forward and sees the old man sound asleep, snoring loudly with his mouth slightly open, a faint smile on his face. Yang Kai can't help but wonder which female disciple of the High Heaven Pavilion the old man is dreaming about. Not that it's surprising, this isn't the first time Yang Kai has caught him in such a state. Gently, Yang Kai taps on the counter a few times, softly calling out Treasurer Meng. The old man's surname is Meng, though Yang Kai never learned his full name. He's always just called him that. A few light knocks eventually rouse the old man from his sleep. His bleary eyes open, and upon seeing that it's Yang Kai, his face immediately wrinkles in displeasure as if he's just spotted a pile of dirt. The old man growls, his sharp gaze fixed on Yang Kai with suspicion. He is clearly in a sour mood. He looks around annoyed that his peace has been disturbed. He grumbles about Yang Kai not showing up earlier, wondering why he didn't come in the morning as expected. Yang Kai, completely unfazed, responds with confidence, explaining that the crowd was too much earlier, and now it's peaceful and quiet, making it the perfect time. Treasurer Meng, still annoyed at having his nap interrupted, mutters under his breath, likely grumbling about how young people these days have no respect for their elders. Yang Kai, ever the picture of obedience, nods earnestly, sticking to the old rules without a word of protest. Treasurer Meng skips the small talk entirely, grabs a silver ingot from the counter, and tosses it to Yang Kai without much ceremony. As he quickly jots down the transaction in his account book, Yang Kai stashes the silver away. But a slight frown crosses his face as he asks how many contribution points he has left. Treasurer Meng, clearly unimpressed, rolls his eyes and delivers the cold truth. He explains that after saving 4 points every month but spending 1 on silver, he's saved 12 contribution points so far. Not exactly a fortune. Then, with that condescending tone that only comes from someone with decades of experience, Treasurer Meng asks if Yang Kai is thinking of buying a bottle of blood coagulation cream. It's almost as if he's daring Yang Kai to make the leap into such an extravagant purchase with his meager savings. With a wave of his hand, Yang Kai brushes it off, pretending it's no big deal. But inside, he knows it's a tough spot. With such a pitiful amount of contribution points, it's nowhere near enough to buy even the most basic medicinal herbs. It's like trying to shop for luxury items with pocket change. Seeing the young man's frustration, Treasurer Meng shakes his head, sighing like he's seen it all before. He throws out a teasing remark about Yang Kai saving up for that baptizing marrow pill. At this rate, he jokes, Yang Kai might finally have enough when old Meng himself is long dead, probably 100 years from now. Yang Kai can't help but grin at that, even though the reality stings. Suddenly, curiosity gets the better of Yang Kai and he furrows his brow. There's something that's been bothering him. So he asks, how is it that the rare and valuable baptizing marrow pill is just sitting around in the contribution hall, untouched? He wonders why hasn't anyone else gotten their hands on it. Treasurer Meng's chest puffs up with pride. He reveals with a smug grin that the pill doesn't belong to the High Heaven Pavilion at all. It's his personal treasure. Nobody else even knows about it. Yang Kai is genuinely surprised. He had always assumed it was part of the sect's inventory, but now it makes sense why Treasurer Meng slapped such a ridiculously high price on it. With a gleam in his eye, Treasurer Meng laughs and takes a sip from his cup, adding that even though it's his treasure, he won't let anyone take advantage of him. If Yang Kai really wants it, he'll have to save up every last contribution point. After all, they don't call him Skin Ripper Meng for nothing. He practically beams at that nickname like it's a badge of honor. Yang Kai chuckles, fully aware that Treasurer Meng is up to his usual antics. But then the old man's expression shifts. With a sly grin and a wink, Treasurer Meng asks if Yang Kai got beaten up again yesterday. The smile on Yang Kai's face disappears quicker than a bag of chips at a party. Without a word, he turns and starts walking out, clearly not in the mood to play along. As he heads for the exit, Treasurer Meng shouts after him, clearly amused, urging Yang Kai not to leave so quickly and to share the juicy details. Yang Kai, ignoring the teasing, keeps walking out of the contribution hall. But just as he's leaving, Treasurer Meng's voice suddenly takes on a more serious tone. His words, now laced with concern, carry a weight they hadn't before. He warns Yang Kai that the High Heaven Pavilion isn't a place where someone like him can last. Sooner or later, if he stays, he'll end up beaten to death. Yang Kai pauses for a brief moment, but he doesn't turn around. Quietly, he mutters to himself that he has nowhere else to go. Without looking back, he continues walking, the old man's warning lingering in the air behind him. Back inside the contribution hall, Treasurer Meng watches Yang Kai leave, cradling his cup with both hands and letting out a long, tired sigh. He reflects on Yang Kai's stubborn perseverance and shakes his head, wondering why the kid bothers with that baptizing marrow pill. Truth is, Meng doesn't even have such a treasure. He made up the story just to give Yang Kai a little hope, never expecting the poor guy to latch onto it so seriously. Now he feels a twinge of guilt. Who knew the kid had so much faith in that imaginary pill? Meanwhile, Yang Kai wastes no time and heads out of the High Heaven Pavilion, setting his sights on Black Plum Town, about 10 miles away. It's his monthly routine, stocking up on supplies after exchanging one of his precious contribution points for silver. Time to buy food and survive another month. As he walks along the familiar road, Yang Kai notices something unusual. This time, he doesn't feel the usual fatigue dragging him down. In the past, by the time he reached Black Plum Town, he'd be a sweaty, panting mess, with his face flushed and his heart pounding like he'd just run a marathon. But now, he feels fine, almost like his body's leveled up overnight. There's a slight warmth coursing through him, but nothing more. Yang Kai grins to himself, the thought crossing his mind that he could walk 100 more miles and still not feel a shred of exhaustion. Is this the power of the golden body? He's starting to think it might be. Yang Kai suddenly recalls something from earlier that morning. While sweeping the floor, he had bumped into a junior brother, and to his surprise, it was the other guy who hit the ground, not him. At the time, he didn't give it much thought, just figured it was one of those awkward collisions. But now, as he reflects on it, something feels off. With his thin and frail frame, when did he ever have the strength to send someone sprawling? He's usually the one eating dirt, not the other way around. As he mulls it over, a spark of excitement starts to rise within him. The changes from the golden body are clearly more than just surface level. They aren't the kind of transformations you notice right away, but subtle ones that reveal themselves over time. Yang Kai is starting to realize that the power of the golden body might be far greater than he first imagined. It's like unwrapping a mystery box. Each day brings a new surprise, and so far, this one seems way better than the last. Lost in his thoughts, Yang Kai barely notices that he's already arrived at Black Plum Town. Looking around, he walks toward the left side of the street, aiming for a small rice shop. The shop isn't large, and its owner, known as Old He, is a local who runs a modest business, but is known for his honesty. He never cheats his customers, which is why Yang Kai prefers to deal with him. Little shops like Old He's are scattered all over Black Plum Town, a bustling place thanks to its location within a 100-mile radius of not only the High Heaven Pavilion, but also other sects like Stormhouse and Bloody Battle Gang. As Yang Kai strolls along, he happens to glance down a narrow alley and spots a group of people huddled together, clearly up to something secretive. One of them, however, stands out like a sore thumb. He's as pale as if he's just seen a ghost or maybe skipped too many meals. The moment this pale individual catches Yang Kai looking, he shoots him a fierce glare as if daring him to take one step closer. Yang Kai chuckles to himself but quickly decides to mind his own business. His personal philosophy is simple. If no one's out to harm him, he's not about to play the town's detective. Still, there's something vaguely familiar about one of the group members. Could be a disciple from the High Heaven Pavilion. He brushes it off with a mental shrug. After all, it's not exactly shocking for disciples to wander into Black Plum Town, whether for supplies or secret alley shenanigans. Before long, Yang Kai reaches Old He's rice shop, which proudly occupies 2 houses along the bustling street. Despite its modest size, the shop's got a steady flow of customers as usual. Old He, who seems to have mastered the art of multitasking, is shoveling rice into bags while holding lively conversations with his buyers, making it look like the rice comes with a free chat. After waiting a bit for the crowd to thin, Yang Kai steps into the shop, ready for his monthly shopping spree. Well, as much of a spree as you can have unlimited contribution points. Yang Kai greets the lady behind the counter with a warm smile, and she quickly recognizes him as one of her frequent customers. With a familiar grin, she acknowledges his presence, already knowing what he's here for. Yang Kai makes a beeline for the cheapest brown rice, as usual, and points at a bag, requesting his usual portion. The lady starts filling the sack and casually comments on his regular visits. She remarks how he comes for rice about once a month and asks if it's enough to last him through. Yang Kai, ever the frugal type, confidently responds that it's more than enough. However, the lady isn't buying it. She gives him a skeptical look and, with a teasing grin, points out the obvious: Yang Kai's scrawny arms and legs. She wonders aloud how he can survive on such a small amount of food when he looks like he could be knocked over by a strong breeze. Yang Kai laughs and explains that he supplements his rice diet by hunting in the mountains, so he manages to stay well fed. Meanwhile, Old He, the shopkeeper, busy with his accounts at the counter, chimes in without even looking up. He casually instructs his wife to give Yang Kai some of the old rice that got stored in the back, clearly considering it no big deal. The lady, smiling at her husband's suggestion, cheerfully agrees to follow his orders. But before she can fetch it, Yang Kai quickly waves off the offer, insisting he doesn't need any extra. However, the lady's smile fades into a more serious expression as she firmly insists. After all, it's just old rice, she says, nothing fancy. Then, with a casual shrug, she drops the bomb that the rice is a little infested with worms, but reassures him that the worms are more nutritious than regular white rice. She delivers this bizarre piece of advice with such confidence that Yang Kai isn't sure whether to laugh or worry about his next meal. Just as she heads to the back to grab the rice, Yang Kai feels a mix of gratitude and hesitation. Every time he visits this shop to buy rice, the kind owner gives him more than he pays for, and the owner and his wife always come up with excuses, like claiming the rice is old or full of worms, to justify their generosity. But in reality, the rice is always of good quality. This kindness leaves Yang Kai feeling a bit melancholic, as if reminding him of the fact that there's little true altruism in the world. His voice slightly trembles as he thanks Uncle He for his generosity. The shopkeeper smiles and waves it off, telling Yang Kai that if he's ever hungry, he should come back. They might not have much, but there's always enough rice to share. Yang Kai lowers his head and sighs softly, his thoughts momentarily interrupted as 2 men burst into the rice shop. The shop's only waiter quickly moves to greet them, but before he can even open his mouth, one of the men sends a powerful kick his way, knocking him to the ground. Startled, Yang Kai rushes out from behind the counter to help the fallen waiter. High eyes dart toward the 2 newcomers, who exude a menacing aura that fills the room. One of the men, pale and clutching his stomach, looks like he's barely holding himself together, on the verge of collapsing. The other, a massive figure built like a bear, is the one responsible for the kick, and his aggression fills the air. The burly man bellows angrily, demanding to know who's in charge. Old He steps forward, his nerves visible, admitting that he's the owner. Though Old He is just a simple merchant, he can immediately tell these 2 aren't your average troublemakers. The fierce expressions, the way they carry themselves, and the swords hanging at their waists, all of it screams danger. With a cold sneer, the larger man accuses Old He of selling poisoned rice, pointing to his sickly companion. He claims that his once strong and healthy brother, who used to be able to fight tigers with his bare fists, was reduced to this sorry state after eating Old He's rice. Fear grips Old He, and his face turns pale as he tries to defend himself, stammering that there must be a misunderstanding. But the large man only gets angrier, shouting that his brother bought rice from the shop that morning, cooked porridge with it, and fell ill after eating it. The burly man asserts that if he hadn't skipped the meal, he'd be joining his brother in the underworld right now. Old He, drenched in cold sweat, wipes his brow repeatedly with his sleeve, frantically insisting that there's no way the rice could be poisoned. But the large man shouts back, saying if his brother hadn't eaten the rice, how else could he have gotten so sick? Yang Kai watches all of this unfold, his sharp eyes taking in every detail. He knows Oldie's character well. The shopkeeper has helped him out numerous times, offering more than he pays for. There's no way Oldie would sell poisoned rice, especially since doing so would ruin his reputation in business. If word got out that he was selling toxic goods, who would ever buy rice from him again? It's obvious to Yang Kai that these two men are here to extort Oldie. Their claims are flimsy, and their methods are vicious, designed to not only take money, but destroy Oldie's livelihood. Despite his frail appearance, Yang Kai is still a cultivator, and he's young with a fiery spirit. Oldie has been kind to him, so there's no way Yang Kai will just stand by and watch these bullies blackmail him. Yang Kai steps forward, his expression serious, and speaks coldly, addressing the two men. His voice is steady as he asks what exactly they plan to do. One of the men glares at Yang Kai, growing more irritated by the second. Before the situation escalates further, Oldie quickly steps between them, signaling Yang Kai to stop. He shakes his head slowly, silently pleading with Yang Kai not to get involved. Yang Kai is taken aback. He respects Oldie, but he's not one to back down from injustice. However, Oldie softly explains that it's better to spend money to avoid trouble. With a helpless sigh, Yang Kai realizes that Oldie has already seen through the two men's intentions. As a businessman, Oldie knows that staying in business means sometimes having to swallow your pride and pay off those who seek to cause harm. The commotion had already attracted unwanted attention from the surrounding shops, and if things continue to escalate, it could bring even more trouble to Oldie. Yang Kai clenches his fist in frustration but remains silent, understanding that Oldie is trying to resolve the situation peacefully, even if it means losing a little to avoid a bigger disaster. I hope that you liked today's video, and if you did, hit that like button, as today's like goal is 1,500 likes. Comment part 2 down below for the next part. Also, consider subscribing with the notification bell on to get notified as soon as a new video drops onto the channel. You can also join the channel to support me financially and watch videos before public release. I'll meet you in the next video. Until then, thanks for watching.